It's time for the water break.
Hello everyone, and I'd like to welcome you to another water break brought to you by Living Waters Church. My name is Minister Nick, and once again I'm thankful to be back before you sharing what God has placed in my heart. Before we get started, I just want to give first off praise and honor to God, who is the head of all life, without whom none of this would be possible. And second, I want to give a special thank you to my wonderful pastors, Pastor Jay and Pastor Mel, and thank them again for this opportunity to be before you. Family, I just want to start this water break off with a quick question. And it's not something that you can answer right away, but I hope that it leads you to some introspection as to why we do what we do. And this question is this: are you an actor or are you a worshiper? In the book of Matthew, in the 6th chapter, in the first 18 verses, Jesus talks about three things, and he juxtaposes them or compares them from doing them out in the open to doing them in secret. He talks about your good deeds, your prayer, and your fasting. Well, many of us know these first chapters from what was delivered in verses 9 through 13, and that's the Lord's Prayer, the biggest, most famous prayer in the Bible, and it's a prayer that we pray many a times. But Jesus framed the Lord's Prayer around this idea of challenging us as to why do we do our good deeds, do we pray, and do we fast? And in each three instances, he talks about how the hypocrites, he uses the word hypocrites, when they do their good deeds, they sound trumpets before them so everyone in the street can know. Or when they pray, they're praying loudly in the synagogues and the streets so that everybody can see. Or when they fast, they're always walking around looking sad and down and telling everybody that they fast. And in each three times, he says they're doing this for the glory of men, and they have their reward. But he finishes each one off and is challenging his followers, and he's saying that, but if you pray in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. If you do your good deeds, don't let the left hand or the right hand know what each one is doing. Do your good deeds in secret so that your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. And when you fast, he's saying, clean yourself up, put oil on your head, make sure you look good. Don't tell anybody you're fasting, so that when your Father sees you fasting in secret, he will reward you openly. So the thing of it is if you're performing for man, you get your reward from the attention, the likes, the follows, the hearts, the smiley faces on social media from humanity. But if you're worshiping and you're acting out of worship to God, your Father will reward you. And it really comes down to that word hypocrite. That word hypocrite in Greek is hypokrates, which just means it translates to an actor performing an assumed role, or a stage player. When you think about actors, they're not on stage being themselves. They're not on stage being who they genuinely are. Some of the best actors in the world are really great at immersing themselves in a character and making that character believable. And that is what we do if we worship, if we're praying and we're fasting strictly just to tell everybody around us how good of a Christian we are acting. We are playing the character of a Christian. We're playing the assumed character of a believer instead of actually worshiping, praying, fasting, and doing good deeds for an audience of one. And that audience is God. So then our reward is the attention of others, as opposed to the blessings of God. So I want to ask you this question, and I want you to think about it. If you feel your prayers haven't been answered lately, are you praying just to show everybody you can pray? Or are you praying to worship and glorify God? If you're not getting the clarity that you feel you should be getting when you're fasting, are you fasting just to tell everybody how hard it's been to give up meat or sweets, or to only drink water for a day? Or are you fasting as a means to worship and connect with God? If you feel that the seeds you've been sowing with the good deeds you've been doing has not been reaping the fruit that you knowingly should be receiving, that you feel in your heart you should be receiving, then are we posting too much of it on social media? Are we going live on Instagram just to show the good deeds as opposed to doing it for the glorification of God, doing it so that God can use us to be a blessing towards others? I've been a perpetrator of this in my life as well, and these verses spoke to me and made me realize that whatever I do for God, it's for God. It's not to show everyone else that I'm a good boy, that I'm a good Christian, that I'm a good follower, that I'm a good minister. It's to show God that He's in control. It's to show God that I worship Him. It's to make God smile. So our deeds are there, our prayers and our fasting is there to make God smile, not to make the world applaud. So ask yourself, am I playing a role for the sake of entertaining the audience of humanity? Or am I truly worshiping to let God know how much I really, really love Him? Thank you so much for listening. God bless you, and I pray you have a wonderful rest of your week.